Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I am Amanda,
I'm Laura.
And I'm Kendra.
and we are so blessed today because we have a special guest, unlike any other that we've had before. This is
Hey,
Jess.
Amanda, hang
Yes,
on. Are you on your podcast mic?
yes. Well, should be. Let me check. Oh, nope. You're correct. On my earphones.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, do I sound better now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
better.
Much better.
Okay, take two.
All right.
And down.
Okay. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Amanda.
I'm Laura.
I'm Kendra.
And we are so excited today because we have a special guest star, unlike any other, Jess Holzworth. She is a wellness specialist at Miraval Resorts, which that's a whole entity in itself. If you've never been to Miraval, you should. And she's a life coach with an emphasis on self-development and spirituality. For background, I recently went on a birthday trip to Miraval honoring another physician coach friend, Dr. Arpita De Palma, who you may recognize from episode number 37. Anyway, at Miraval, you get to take classes on all kinds of things. You can do all the exercise classes you want. You can work with horses to uncover things that are holding you back. You can do ropes courses. You can take classes on all kinds of things. But one of the things that drew me to attend was Jess's class called Manifestation, Become a Conscious Creator of Your Life. And I loved it. And immediately I was like, everyone on the podcast needs to hear this. And I second guessed myself, like, oh, wait, they cater to physicians and they might think it's a little strange. But then I looked around the room and half to most of the class was physicians and we all loved it. So I thought, well, the heck with it. And I asked Jess and she said yes. And I feel like I manifested it. I'm super excited about it. So anyway, I super appreciate that you're coming on the podcast with us. So thank you so much today, Jess.
You're so welcome. I'm excited to be here and to talk to all of you.
Yes, thanks. We're so excited to hear what you have to say. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I guess, my official title at Miraval is Spiritual Holistic Guide, Sacred Facilitator, but I think now I'm just going to say wellness specialist to not make it complicated. And I'm a life coach and I have an emphasis on holistic living, self-development, and spirituality. And I have a website, www.spiritualabode.com, and you can work one-on-one with me. And then I'm at Miraval 3 times a week, and I do lectures and I do workshops.
Great, great. So how did you get into what you're doing currently?
That's an interesting question. And by the way, I come from a family of doctors.
Oh, all right.
And my mother's a therapist.
Oh, wow.
I always was a seeker. When I look back, I didn't have the language that I have now. Like, I don't even think mindfulness was a part of my vocabulary like 10 years ago. So now I can talk more fluid, but I'd always been a seeker. And my background, I actually was a music video director, and I was living in Los Angeles, and I was doing that for almost a decade. And then at the time, I wanted a lifestyle change, and I was thinking about aging and doing it gracefully. Okay, this thing, how do I do it well? And so I just really started practicing yoga. My mother always practiced yoga and would invite me, but of course, getting up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to go to a yoga class was not like on my radar. But the times that I did go, I really enjoyed it. So then when I had that conscious shift, I was like, let me start going to this yoga thing. And I went super awkward, walked in the studio with my shoes on. Hey, and they're all like whispering, you leave your shoes outside. And something just resonated. And at the time I was like, wow, I just really feel this deeply. And I want this to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. So I really started with just practicing yoga and developing that practice. And then that opened the whole doorway to me becoming a certified life coach, certified spiritual life coach, certified Vedic counselor, certified sacred facilitator, Reiki 1 and 2. I'm going to become a cacao ceremonialist as well, certified. That's my next training. I have a master's in yoga. I might be forgetting something, but it just kind of opened this whole floodgates. And I had been living in Los Angeles, but moved back to Tucson. And then I'd heard about Miraval, and I really honestly didn't know what they actually do up there, which is amazing. And I was just like, oh, I like candles and a spa atmosphere. Naively thought that, but I got hired there, and I've been there for about a little over 6 years.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
quite an amazing journey. Awesome. So, our audience is mainly physicians, and guess what? Manifestation isn't really covered in medical school. So, can you just explain what we mean when we say manifestation?
So, well, psychology defines it as using your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs, and I'm going to say actions as well, to bring something into your physical reality. And I really like to think of manifestation like, let's keep it basic. It's a tool, and it's using your energy wisely. And nobody teaches that in any school, really, right? But I love the quote by Albert Einstein. I use this in my lecture because he's one of the greatest minds of the 20th century. Everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not philosophy, this is physics. So it's the understanding that we are vibratory beings, everything around us is energy, and how to use that wisely. But another word to simplify it would be using intention.
Love it. So, in your talk I assume, is this a talk that you presented that you heard
Mhm.
Amanda at Miraval?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there are 5 steps to manifesting. So let's go over each one briefly. So tell us about what step 1, C.
See, so it's under the I created the manifestation ascension, so it's kind of like you can go up to reaching your manifestation. So the first step is C. You want to get clear. The clearer you are, the better. And I feel like anybody can relate to that, regardless if you're a scientist or you're a spiritual life coach. And that's really your GPS system. And you can think of manifesting as a holistic approach to goal setting. So we need a foundation to build upon. And then when we have that focus, we know where to navigate our energy. I also like to say it's important to see it to believe it, that it's possible. And you do want to manifest realistic things, by the way. And how do you build and start moving in the direction towards that desire? And that's the interchangeable manifestation and desire. And then I also like to tell people, please be flexible, because when you get in there and you try to control all the details, you're creating something called resistance. And often I have found that it comes out completely different than anything you can imagine, and it comes out better. And I have an example of that. In 2023, I did my first woman's retreat in Sedona, and we found this beautiful venue. It's world class, and they have a couple of rooms you can rent, and we rented the cathedral room. That's the room, right? And 2 days before the retreat, the owner called me and left a voicemail, but didn't tell me what it was about, and was like, please, can you call me? And of course I was like, So I called, and she basically told me that the cathedral room wasn't available. But we would still be doing things in the cathedral room, but would you be okay doing the majority of your offering in the Sikatuva room? And I just listened, and then right in that moment I was like, oh, that's where we're supposed to be. Because the size of the group, it would hold us better because the cathedral room was so big. And she gave us the majority of our money back. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
it's a win-win situation, because something had come up that they wanted to use that for a very, very special thing that just came up. And we were totally like, Oh, absolutely, of course. But going into doing a retreat, you don't realize all the details from catering to hiring outside guests to the renting the venue, the gift bags, like so much goes into it.
Yeah. So if we were to translate that first step into, say, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People language, something like begin with the end in mind, would that translate into the seeing that you're describing, like seeing what it is that you want to have happen?
Possibly. I think part of manifesting is releasing attachment to the outcome. So I don't know if I would see the end in mind, but okay, I definitely like, say you're manifesting, we could keep it simple. You want to manifest a new car, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a criteria. You want it to be a subcompact. You like subcompacts to whip around in the city. They're easy to park. Uh, you could either have it electric as well, and you want the color white. So you're looking, but nothing's clicking, right? And then you get this little hit that you're like, maybe I should look at different cars because you have these certain models that you were looking at. And then you start looking elsewhere, like say you were at Honda, now you're over at Toyota, right? And then there is this car, and you're like, wow, that's the car. But you didn't know that that was the car till you saw that car. But that wasn't what you had in your mind as your end result. It was a whole other car.
Yeah.
Did you guys
I can
follow that?
I totally
Yeah.
followed it. It reminds me of like my educational journey. I went to college thinking I was going to be an English teacher. And this is what I tell my kids is going to college puts you on the path to have the experiences that will, you'll learn more about what you want to do as you go along. But if you don't do something that requires you to go to college, then it won't take you in any of those paths. So it's just interesting. You start with something that you think you want and look towards that and go that direction, but being open to other possibilities along the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even going to become a doctor. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you get into med school and you're like, I'm going to be a surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
you know, okay. And there's so many fields of physicians as well.
Yeah. So what about step two?
Step two is feel. And I always like to ask people who in here is in touch with their feelings, and it's like,
Zero.
and feelings are mapped back to the heart, but we're all hanging out up here, right? So you want to get in touch with the feeling, your feelings, so you know what you're aiming for and why. And your why is really connected to your motivation. It helps you take those action steps, which we'll get to. It helps you with your foundation. It helps you to focus as well. And then the other important ingredient there is to tune into the feeling of what you wish to manifest. And all manifestation teachers will tell you this is the gold mine. And then the quote, another quote I love, I don't know if yes, I mentioned Einstein. Another quote is by the Buddha: what you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. So that middle part, what you feel you attract. And then you want to embody the desire of what it is you want to manifest before it even manifests. Like, you're looking for love. Be love. Back to the first step. What does that look like? Start practicing it. Start showing up in that energy. And that could just be giving gifts. That could be receiving. Hey, I'm going to really upgrade my self-care regimen. Or joy. Hey, you're looking to call in more joy in 2024. Starts with you. Authenticity, abundance, and so on. So you vibrationally become it to attract it in.
I even think that at first that sounded, back before I started doing any of this work, that would have seemed kind of like a little bit out there to me, but it's not out there at all because when we imagine the worst is going to happen, all of us can identify with feeling that stress piling up in our neck and our shoulders. We're feeling in our bodies that imaginary scenario. So why on earth is it so would it be out there to go ahead and pre-feel the good scenario? To me, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, that would feel a bazillion times better. And if it's not woo-woo to feel the bad, then why would it be woo-woo to feel the good? And it would get me so much farther in my life to feel better.
Absolutely. And this is scientifically backed.
Yeah.
Positive thinking along with habitual action equals positive results. There's studies on this.
Yeah, that's good. I like that, because one of the things that, you know, or I learned in the coaching training I had was just really asking, like, what else? And just like Amanda said, like, if you are familiar with feeling that nervousness in your gut when you hear the EMS radio go off, or that, you see the track board hit and it's a, 20-day-old with shortness of breath, whatever, and you immediately go to that and feel that. But there's so much more walking into a shift saying, I was trained for this, I'm made for this, let's do this, or whatever you have to do, and just feel that. And that's just immediate confidence, immediate, whatever you need to walking in. So I
And
love
it's a mindset.
that. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Call it growth
Yeah.
mindset, abundant mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love it. I love when you started just thinking that, making us aware that you also didn't have language for this, 10 years ago or whatever, whenever you start on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this podcast is about, is putting out there the words and the language so that our colleagues just have words to put with this, like have the, the language or the conversation, and be confident that now we knew everything that we had before that was creating anxiety and fear, but just knowing that we have language for this, I really love that. And that's what we're trying to do here. So, okay, moving on to step 3, and that's believe.
Okay, so I always like to tell people believe is the hardest step because you have to believe in the unseen, and you have to believe that you are worthy of your desires. And this step is really important because it requires you to release limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns that tell you you're not good enough or worthy. And I would say these things are some of the biggest blocks to manifesting. And then those beliefs are deeply ingrained in the subconscious mind. And the subconscious runs 95% of your day. It's on a loop. It was imprinted from the ages of 1 to 7. Our brain waves are in theta during that time. And you could even go up to 14. And then studies show that the subconscious is 70% limited and disempowering. And then the conscious mind is that 5%, and that's your dreams and wishes, and that's who we really want to be. And like, you may wake up one morning and be like, yeah, I'm going to get in shape. But then you just go on out the door and you're, you're at Dunkin' Donuts doing your same thing, feeding that subconscious. And so we really have to become aware. And I always tell people, just get present, start building that self-awareness muscle, and you'll start, those hidden beliefs, you'll start identifying them. And then this is the science component behind manifestation is neuroplasticity, and the ability to change your brain at any stage of your life, even elderly. And science used to say that the adult brain was fixed. And now that's not true. So studies have shown that you can override old neural pathways. So say you have a hidden belief, you discover that I'm not enough. So you catch that and then you counteract it. I am enough. And you say it over and over, repetition with emotional intensity as a way to override those old neural pathways. And then also like embody that. So back to feel that inside of you, even if the head doesn't believe it. Wait, I am enough. Emotional intensity, like psych yourself out and do some mirror work, whatever you need to do, right? And then just repeat it.
Yeah, when you in the
great.
class said that you have to be you have to deeply believe that you are worthy of getting what it is that you're, trying to manifest. And some of us can't even accept a compliment. Like from here on out, I will be accepting all compliments because I definitely do not want to be blocking something good coming my way. But it is interesting how we're ingrained to believe that like we need to be humble and self-deprecating and all of that sort of stuff, and that's maybe not the best way to manifest all of the great things that could happen.
No, and I used to be self-deprecating because I'm funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
But then after a
it
while,
is.
I'm like, what am I saying about myself? But I mentioned the book by Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and I love this analogy. He says to think of yourself as a gardener and your mind's a garden, and all day long you're planting seeds with your thoughts. So why plant seeds that harm ourselves, right? Let's plant good seeds in there. And that's that repetition, like I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy. And it's
Yeah.
all a practice, by the way, too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would just like to add to your point, Amanda. So, just to clarify, humility is good, but it really just means being teachable and open to learning. It's not the same as self-deprecation. So,
Right.
self-deprecation, like, there's no virtue in doing that, people. So, stop.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I think the way I grew up, it was taught that way, but that's not accurate. Humility isn't that.
Yep, that's good. Okay, so the next step is act.
Act. So this is another spiritual principle. I usually talk about the law of attraction too, or a law of nature, reciprocity. You have to give, but you also have to receive. That's in there as well. But that would fall under too. I'm getting sidetracked. Let me come back to act. So you don't get results without taking action, right? And a vision without action could fall under the category of delusion. So I like to encourage people, take one step, baby step in the direction towards your desire, because the first step can be so hard. Like, I want to change. And in the lecture, I talk about how the brain is hardwired to resist change because change involves risk and risk involves failure. So right there, that can paralyze us from taking that one step. But if we can just take one step in the direction towards this desire, okay, and then find that safe grounding with our foundation. I did it. Okay, let me take another step. Just keep building in the direction towards your desire. There's always going to be distractions externally, internally. Just stay going in your direction and towards your desire. And here I love to encourage people to space clear. And this might be, Amanda, back to the language, or Kendra, you mentioned it too. Like, I know when I say vibrationally become it, everybody's probably like, what does she mean? But space clearing too, like space clearing, what is she talking about? So we have to give up something or some things to create space to receive in something new. So I like to tell people, hey, do you know what's in your closet? Clean out your closet, clean out your bedroom, repaint it, but also clean out this mind, clean out this heart, do some energetic space clearing. And that's some basic action steps you can start right there. And that's where I like to think of manifestation as a self-help tool as well. It's not necessarily about material gain. It's about coming into alignment with your highest self.
I like that. Um, I like how that you gave us another action step because I think a lot of people think you actually have to do something like almost like an addition. So you have to do something that you weren't doing before, but maybe that first step is actually preparation, like clearing some junk out to prepare for the next growth step. Like maybe it's taking away and it's not necessarily adding something or giving yourself a next step. It's actually getting the preparation. So sometimes you got to shake some stuff out and clear it, like you said,
Absolutely.
in order to then grow or get going.
like the next chapter of
is
your
cool.
life. Like for the,
Mhm.
like right now we're in manifestation season. We're ending. I think this is good because this is the end of the of 2023 and we're going into 2024. So this is a great time to do some space clearing. Okay, what in my space like I don't need anymore, and it makes you feel lighter as
Yeah.
well.
And it adds to the clarity too, because sometimes maybe you don't know exactly where you need to go or what you want, but when you start to remove some stuff, I really do think, or it helps me anyways, really get clarity. Like, I know I don't want that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I want to do that anymore. And so just knowing kind of what is not serving you anymore and clearing that out does kind of open the door to clarity for, okay, so where can we go from here? What else is possible? I love that. Asking what else is possible. Okay. So
But
finally,
can I add to that? And
yeah,
that
sure.
gives you clarity. Okay, what do I want to call in? Or what do I want to align with? Or what do I want to manifest?
Yeah, that's great. Okay, finally, step 5 is trust. Yikes. Don't go away. Don't turn us off. I know, scary, trusting. Wait, a circle.
Yeah, so I would say this is up there with believe, trusting. And remember, everything is a practice. So if you have like some self defeating belief that comes in, or you notice a limiting pattern, you literally can just say, trust. I'm going to trust. I'm going to. I'm just going to work with this trust thing. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going to trust, right? So you have to trust yourself, though. And that's really honoring that intuition or those deep desires. It's not like, being humble or whatever. No, this is like a deep desire. I want a home. I want a family life. This is a deep desire. I want to scale my business. I want to travel to Egypt. This is a deep desire. Honor it, right? So you trust yourself. And then this is where I'll probably get a little woo for the physicians. So I like to say,
Bring it.
trust yourself, but you also want to trust in the, I won't say universe. How about I say trust in the a higher consciousness, right? The infinite intelligence, which we are a direct extension of that as well. And, the universe always has a better plan, just like the example I gave about my retreat. Because this was the first retreat I ever done, and I had a co-host. We were both at moments terrified. What if we fail? What if nobody signs up? Oh my God, what are we doing? We felt very overwhelmed, but her and I together, because she has a spiritual foundation, we were like, let's just trust. We were called to do this for a reason. We're just going to trust. And it was an absolute smashing success. But we at the retreat behind everybody, we're going, I'm like shocked. we were like blown away, right? So, but we had to really trust in a higher power that we came together. This is something we both have dreamt about, and we're just going to follow that path. And then this one's really about like letting go too of all that resistance, all the doubt, all the fear. And that's where the trust component comes in full force.
That's hard for physicians to let go of control.
Yeah, that's good, right? I was just going to add
That might be what we're blocking.
That's why we're blocking. We have to give up control, and that's kind of scary. I think, though, just like you said, Jess, I mean, for, us faith people out there that, know that God is in control and we're not. There's a sovereign out there that's in control and we're not. And just knowing, though, almost makes it a little easier to trust when you can almost release that responsibility of I have to do all things. I have to make everything happen. I need to do everything. I feel like it's almost a release onto something that you know is greater than yourself to handle things that are more than yourself. I mean, they were never meant to be carried by us. Never, never. We were created in the image of our sovereign king who knows all and sees all and does all. And so I feel like that's almost a release. Like you can release all of that and not feel like some people say you're carrying the world on your shoulders. You weren't meant to carry the world.
Yeah,
You didn't make that. You didn't do that. So it feels good to
absolutely.
release that.
I agree. But then let's go back to the other steps. In the meantime, though, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Right.
you
Right.
getting in alignment with what
Mm-hmm.
it is that you want to call in? Be it, hey, financial stability, a more fit body. Like, what are your action steps? What's your mindset?
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's what leads you to that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
I've heard another coach. I heard she had a podcast on how to get married. I don't know why I was listening to it because I'm married. I think I know people who want to get married is probably what it is. But it was interesting. And she was like, this is what you do. You commit to going on a certain number of dates. You write down a list of what you want in a partner. Then you write a list of what that partner would want. And then you tear off the part about the partner and you become what that partner would
Mm,
want.
yeah.
That is what helps bring it to you. And so that's kind of probably the same for anything we want. We need to become what that thing would want.
So that's back to step 2, feel, vibrationally
Mm-hmm.
become it. That's what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about, right? To attract
Mm-hmm.
it in. To attract in what you want, you become it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, after laying down these amazing 5 steps and talking to 3 physicians and a whole lot more out there, what are some of the biggest obstacles that keep us from manifesting? I'm sure we could talk, about this for hours, but what do you think or what do you see are some of the biggest obstacles that keep us from doing this correctly or just manifesting what we want?
So I would say mindset for sure. Um, and you know what? I think believing. And I love to just walk. You'll catch me walking around and I'm like, anything's possible. Well,
Hmm.
gosh darn it. I love to just say that randomly because it's so true. Anything is possible. So, that's where I talk about resistance, like dissolve the illusion. There is no separateness between you and what you desire. Anything is actually possible, right? Um, and then, so the limiting beliefs, I'd say negative thinking. I
Hmm.
think a lot of we're born with a negativity bias. So this is scientifically backed. So we have a tendency to think negatively over positively. Mindfulness can help us live with positive intention, but that can become our default. And then there's a limiting pattern circulating in your subconscious of pessimism. Right there, you're like keeping yourself small, right? People pleasing, perfectionism, procrastination, overthinking, indecision. So these are all patterns that can keep us blocked. Fear can keep us blocked too, self doubt. And I always tell people just acknowledge it. None of us, like, there are a few people that are fearless, but they still have fear too. It's just like, make friends with it, but don't let it paralyze you. And I love the Nike logo. Just do it. Right? That's why that logo is so iconic. Just do it. Check mark. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, fear, not believing, limiting beliefs, limiting patterns, um, not having clarity, I think too, can stop a lot of people. Actually, a lot. I don't know what I want, right? A lot
Right.
of the times we can't see what we want.
Yeah.
So getting clear is a great starting point.
I have a question, and this is I know the answer, but I want the doctors to hear this. What effect do you think negative self-talk has on our ability to bring in good things?
Oh God, so much. Right. If you're constantly, and I know a lot of people that do that. I mean, we all have an inner critic, right? But you gotta work with that inner critic. I remember even at Miraval, like, public speaking is not what I signed up for, but that's what I do. Right. And I remember my inner critic used to run amok. And then after a while, I don't know what happened. Maybe I did it so much. I just got to a place I was like, I'm standing in front of 20 people today. That's absolutely enough. And I know that I am in alignment with, like, I'm coming from a place of sincerity. And that's absolutely enough. So what if I fumbled my words today? So what if I forgot a quote? So what? Right?
Yeah.
Um, but I think that negative self talk can be very damaging.
Okay. So I'm going to summarize and then we'll move on. But so, and tell me if I'm getting this correctly. But step 1C, we spend so much time looking at what we don't want and, then just marinating in that with we know this word, mental filtering. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do is set our mind and set our sights on what we do want. Then number 2, and that's amazing. So many of us have never even asked ourselves, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
You've been on this path through college, med school, residency, whatever, and you've never gotten clear on what it is. What are you doing all this for? You know what I mean? So anyway, so step 1C, step 2, feel it in your body. That is so hard for physicians, but just, know how to do it negatively. So just practice doing it positively, what you actually want to feel like, and feel it in your body. Yes. Then step 3, believe that you're worth it. Believe that you're worthy of this dream that you have. You don't need to be self-deprecating about it. It's what you want. What's wrong with that? And then step 4, don't just sit there wishing, like actually do something, act, take those small steps. And step 5, then release control of the exact how of the outcome and trust in something bigger, that it could be even better than you believe.
Mm.
Yeah?
You articulated that beautifully.
Yes. Because I'm going to be manifesting the bejesus out of 2024. So I want to make sure I'm getting it right.
Yeah. You did it perfectly. And I loved at the end that you said the how. Don't get caught up in the how, because that can block us. So that was a good point to bring up.
I did. I attended the class. Hopefully I'm a Capricorn and hopefully I got an A+.
I was going to say you got an A+.
Yay! External validation. Wait, I'm working on that. Okay. So give us, I know you've been doing this work for a while. Can you give us, so we can start to see it concretely, an example of somebody or 2 people or whatever who have manifested well?
Well, you know what? I'm going to turn this around on you guys.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a story where any of you manifested well?
I mean, I've got to say, this podcast, this whole journey as a side quest to our thing, if you had talked to me 10 years ago, first of all, 10 years ago, all 3 of us were massively burned out. And I couldn't have imagined that I'm still working clinically and I'm doing something on the side that really nourishes my, it's my ikigai. Like I have such a sense of purpose and I'm excited to get out of bed to work on something. I think the 10 years ago version of me would have been like, what? We are exhausted. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, I do think, and you're on this podcast, so clearly I am a manifesting ninja.
And also, Amanda, your language is expanding. So you just mentioned ikigai. I don't know. Do the doctors know what that word is?
I don't. We should have a whole. They probably don't. But
so it's a Japanese word, and it's translated reason for being, that which makes worth getting up in the morning. And the same thing. I teach Dharma. Dharma is the Sanskrit word for life purpose. Ikigai is a similar concept.
It's so funny how there's similar concepts in so many different traditions,
different cultures. Yeah,
which
I love.
I don't know. I like it. Yes. Oh, okay. So yeah, back to me. I'm getting off course, which is shocking as an emergency physician. Okay. For those of us excited to manifest something in 2024, what would be some tips to get, the big thing is we need to start acting on it. So what are some tips to get us started?
Okay, so you could just get a piece of paper and a pen and write manifestation list 2024. Actually, I do mine in my phone, everybody. It's on my notes. Nice. I have 2024. Okay. I have a journal too, but for anybody, you could just get a piece of paper and start writing out. Now, if you want to get a little more elaborate, you can light a candle. You can put some soft meditation music on. I love alpha waves. Alpha waves soften our brain waves, and it helps us access the subconscious. It also boosts creativity, helps you focus, and it helps you de-stress. So
Okay.
you could do that kind of setting and just start writing out your list.
Okay. We can do that. So Alpha Waves you would just find like on Spotify or something like that.
YouTube,
YouTube. Okay.
Spotify, and they may all sound different. So find one that you actually like. Cause I do this all the time and I'm like, that one next doesn't really resonate. So find one that resonates.
Okay. I love it. And then are there any other helpful resources for more information? You had mentioned a book in the class. I didn't know if there were others.
Yeah, I love to recommend, especially to the physicians, Dr. Tara Swart. That's Swart. She's an MD, psychiatrist turned neuroscientist, and she teaches, I believe, at MIT. And her work is all about the science behind manifestation. She has a podcast too, Reinvent Yourself. She has an Instagram as well. She's pretty much my go-to for the like when I want to get the science stuff. And then there's another podcast, Expanded, and they actually, Dr. Tar Swart worked with them. So she backs that work. Expanded podcast is great as well. And that's an online community called TBM. Those are pretty much my go-tos. But there's like old school manifestation, the movie The Secret, the book The Secret. Then there's Wayne Dyer. And this is kind of woo-woo stuff. And then there's like Esther Hicks, asking
Oh
is
yeah.
given. Yeah, like so I mean
Yeah.
I love all this stuff. Like I just love to I love the language of manifestation. I like to learn about it more and more and more. But there's so many resources out there on it. If you just hit in manifestation,
Okay.
something will come up.
Awesome. And then you alluded to it at the beginning, but do you take clients and how do people find out more about you?
I have a website, www.spiritualabode.com. That's my Instagram handle as well. I do take clients. I do one-on-ones, and I'm actually going to offer a manifestation session via
Nice.
my website. It should be launched shortly. But I also work with people. I do a 12-week immersion. So you could do one-on-one coaching. And then in 2024, I'm going to manifest a group coaching offering.
Oh, I like it.
Nice.
Okay. We will stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jess. This has been amazing. And how timely, too. I'm glad, Amanda, that you were manifesting this because how timely. And what a good way to kick off the new year with just a new way to open your mind to something that, imagine what your life could be like this time next year if you just put this podcast episode on repeat and listen to it over and over again and shared with all of your friends. So thank you for your time, Jess. We so appreciate all the work you're doing. We thank you that you also have, just alluded to things that really capture the scientist in all of us, but also just our humanity. So we honor you for your work and we thank you for your time today. So grateful for you.
Thank you.
And if you're not on our email list, then go to our website, www.thewholephysician.com, to get on our email list and to find out all the things about the Whole Physician. So until next time, you are whole, you are a gift to medicine, and the work you do matters.